What's
Hello.
going on, fight fans? Here we are with the Boston Source Midweek Report, and we're getting right into it with our special guest of the evening. Of course, she is getting ready for her upcoming bout scheduled on May 31st in San Luis, Rio, Colorado, Mexico, right? And it will be her second pro bout there to be right back in the same spot where she had her pro debut, of course. She is getting ready. They're in the pretty much competing in the featherweight division, but y'all know she's been on here before. She's back here again. It's the big deal. Brooklyn Barwick, what's going on?
What is up, everybody? It's going good. I'm here in New York. I've been doing camp. Been doing some hard sparring, a lot of self-reflection, and just growing as a fighter. So we lit out here. I'm ready for my second pro fight, and yeah, now it's just all getting down. We're gonna do bantamweight this time, so I'm gonna
Okay.
take over bantamweight. I know I'm already ranked in featherweight, but let's see. I'm 4'11", so like honestly, I'll have like a better competition. And yeah, so it'll just be good. I don't know. I'm very chill about it because like I feel like the first fight I was like very antsy, and especially going on to this show I was like, yeah,
Mhm.
like I'm here in Vegas, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, because like, as a pro boxer everything just kind of like lands in your hands, and like you just got to grab it and take it. And I feel like during my first fight camp like as a pro, um it was a lot of just antsiness because I haven't stepped in the ring. But I feel like going
Right.
back to San Luis was a very good move for me, because now I'm going back to a crowd that I now have a Mexican fan base over in San Luis. I love you guys. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And also, it's a place I've been before. So before I even go to London at the end of the year, or before I go on the bigger stages on the United States cards like that I've been getting offered, it's like it's a really good, like it feels like a homecoming, if you know what I mean. So
Mhm.
I'll always have a very sound place for San Luis in my heart. So I'm really excited for his second pro fight.
Gotcha. And you talked about that thing there with your pro debut because in our previous conversations, one of the things that you were talking about is getting ready for that first fight, and how long it took to secure that fight, number one, and then have it at that particular weight that it was. And that was one of the things we were talking about is getting down, getting down, getting down, and then by the time you got it to that weigh in, and you finally made weight. Of course, you sent me that picture there. While you're here holding that
Yeah,
top.
because I was
You were very
talking to you
passionate
about
about that.
it.
You know what I
Going
mean?
down to feather was like for that time it was kind of extreme because I was going back and forth in the plane. Now I
Hmm.
feel like going down to bantam, it's just getting me down back to where I was, very
Hmm.
healthy,
Yeah.
when I was like back in the influencer boxing days. Um, I'm doing like an MMA cut, and then obviously just been getting my weight down. I am a foodie, so I feel like that is kind of my weakness as a person, not even just as a fighter. Like if I
Mhm.
see like fried churros, like obviously I'm gonna go get those fried churros, but like as a fighter I have to stay healthy, at to stay on a regimen. But yeah, like um getting
Oh,
down to
you.
bantam this time, it'll be good for me. I'm gonna maintain it. I'm doing a bonfire after with my friends in Orange County, because Mexico is not that far from California.
Mhm.
Um and obviously, like I told them, I want to drink. I've been sober this camp. I want to, like, we're all 21 plus. We're graduated obviously. I'm
Mhm.
25. We're getting to that age where it's like, yo, like I just looked at them because I really wanted to go hard the last time I was there, but I couldn't because I knew I had this fight. And I was like, yo, I just want to have like something to just celebrate, because I've been doing a lot just as like growing as a person, growing as a fighter, like navigating this industry, and obviously having boy troubles along the way. Like I am a female. Like come on. Like
Mhm.
I'm just gonna like after this pro fight, like I'm gonna take like a week break at most, probably 3 days because the gym always calls me back, and then we're
Mhm.
gonna be straight back in camp, for London, and it'll be good. It'll be good to stay active this year, kind of make my name, put my stamp on the little boxing map, you know.
Right. And you talk about having that release or that week of release because of the process that you had
Mhm.
up to your pro debut, and then having this, as I would say, a quick turnaround because that's pretty much like 3 months after your pro debut that you're right back at it with another fight.
Yeah.
And so that means like, okay, after I get this done here, that I take care of business. You know what I mean, on March 1st. Now I gotta, once I get back, I'm like, okay, I'm back in it, back in the gym, and then I got to cut down to another, weight
Weight
class, another
class,
couple weight
yeah.
classes down. You know what I mean?
Well, I
So,
have to make my mark. I have to like make it known that I am taking this sport seriously because I feel like it's harder for me at least, because I don't have a proper amateur career and I come from
mhm,
influencer boxing, which is looked at as a
mhm,
joke. So, yeah, like I
mhm,
need to just do the most, and it was funny, like somebody was like, "Oh, you're doing too much." To me, and I was like, "Oh, are you just not enough?" Because I
mhm,
have to. I feel like I have
mhm,
to. And it's like a big deal when I got gifted that name. It's because I make everything a big deal. If it's somebody's birthday, if you're my friend, I'm gonna make it a big deal. If it's something that I've accomplished, I'm gonna make it a big deal. You get the gist of it. Like
mhm,
positive or negative, like it's gonna be a big fucking deal. And I bring the numbers and I bring the heat and I bring the determination, and that's what sets me apart from everyone else coming from that industry. So, yeah, I have to do more in order to gain y'all's respect in boxing, but
mhm,
it's fine. It's bantamweight. It's something I'm supposed to be at. Again, I am 4'11", like when I am standing up, like it is what it is. Like
mhm.
you've even
Yep.
seen me in real
Yep.
life. Like,
Exactly.
bro, like
Exactly.
it is what it is. Like,
Mhm,
as much as I want to be a thick girl, because it's nothing against the petite women, it's just as a female, I look at the way that I want to style myself, the way that I want to present myself when I'm like going to parties, like events, just in general in life. I don't want to be a stick twig all the time. It's great if I want to be in like a
mhm,
bikini going to Hawaii or some shit, but other times, like how I went to Hawaii and I was thick, I loved it. I loved
mhm,
it because I could wear more, I could do more. I know that's like a female thing, and boxers like probably aren't interested in that, but it's the reason why even some guy boxers like Ryan Garcia walking out with like a fashion robe and shit. It's like the way you present yourself, like for example, me pink, is
mhm,
the way that you're gonna leave your mark. And I feel like me being a fluctuating person, I can show you guys
mhm.
when I'm tiny. Boom. Okay, I'll rehydrate. Explosive. Back to my thick little self. Ba 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 boom. Because I can sit in there, I can bang. But realistically, I even need to be at 109. Like, that's how short I am. But
Mhm.
being in the 20s, it is a very competitive division, featherweight, bantamweight, and especially lightweight as well. Um, like it is what it is. I'm gonna just cut, and I feel like I'm like that guy from the UFC, Patty the Batty. He always makes those vlogs, and he's like, "Yo, um, I just ate all these cakes. Okay, now I'm this weight. Okay, let me go into the Epstein salt bath real quick. Let me do this. Okay, I cut 4 pounds. All right, let me get on
Mhm.
the treadmill. All right, I cut three. Like, he's literally such an inspiration because I'm like, you're a fat ass, but then you get down to 155. Like, what the fuck? I
Yeah.
love that man. I feel like
Yeah.
if anything in boxing, I am that man. I will
Mm.
be the ultimate advocate for getting your calories in, but also burning them
Right.
shits off. Maybe it's
Right.
an eating
I mean,
disorder. I don't know.
nah, nah, because I mean, as an athlete, you have that thing there where you're gonna, be able to eat a lot, but also work it off, too.
Yeah.
So, like you mentioned there, being a foodie and things like that. But you don't have to. kind of like prove, well, at least you're from San Antonio, so Charles Barkley can't get on you. Talking about eating those churros. Let me
I'm
tell you
from
something, Jimmy. You
H-Town,
can't be eating those
Burbank
churros. You know what I mean?
County.
You know, but yeah, but as you said, you're trying to get down to like around that bantamweight division. Given your
That's
frame
where
and
I'm
things
gonna
like
get
that. You know what
Hennessy
I mean?
at too. Is
Yeah,
bantamweight 122. This division I'm
yeah.
going into. This is Hennessy's weight class. She also goes down to 18. Okay, cool,
hmm
nice.
Yeah,
But like,
but and given you
I'm
said
gonna
you're
meet
there at
her wherever
4'11",
she's at.
you're there at 4'11", and
I think
getting
she's
to
like
that
five
particular
one.
weight, right? Yes, she's 5'1", right? But
Yeah.
get this, right? You have the undisputed champion at flyweight listed at 5'9". Now think about that. Like
Wait, is
five
are we talking
nine.
about Mizuki?
No, Gabriela Fundora.
Oh, Vendora. Yeah.
Yeah, like 5'9" and able to make like 112, 111 pounds at 5'9". So I mean that's like absolutely crazy, right?
Rehydration goes crazy, all
Yeah,
right? Like
that.
you saw me walk in right after. I plumped right back up. I chugged water. I was apparently not supposed to chug that water, but I took a
Mm,
Stanley cup and I went go 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 go.
mm,
Right after, I was like,
yeah,
they're like, you're supposed to do it slow. I don't care. I needed
yeah,
water. Like if I
yeah.
throw up, I throw up. Like come on,
hmm
man. Like keep
Yeah,
it pushing.
that's a key part to it is because when it comes to weight cutting, like you have to have a specific schedule to it, and see if you could adhere to the schedule so that by the time you do make weight, you're able to properly rehydrate before the fight
Olive
takes place. You know what I
Garden.
mean? So so that's the
Olive
thing about
Garden,
it.
please sponsor me. I love you and I use you for all of the freaking like rehydrations and shit. And Nando's, when I'm in the UK, sponsor me. I love you.
Yeah, definitely need that sponsorship like you were talking about. Definitely need the sponsorship because
Nando's, yo.
it's
We're doing
huge.
a London bout, so it's like if I get a
Okay.
Nando's sponsorship, it's game over, bro. That's my favorite restaurant over there. All right? Like it's chill.
I don't think I was able to make it up to that there when I was there last September, man. Next time I'm gonna see if I can go ahead and check it out if I have the time. You know what I mean?
Like,
But yeah,
yeah.
definitely gotta put down have that sponsorship because as you said, it's something to make those trips and book everything and arrange everything for
Oh,
the
I
fight
know, bro.
and then
The
coming
influencer
right
stuff,
back.
I feel
So
like I got spoiled. I got
mm,
so spoiled with all the sprinter vans, the per
mm,
diems and everything. Um, we still get per diems, but like obviously, like when you're going on like a DAZN or a Fight TV card, you get spoiled. Like, come on, like,
mhm.
like
Yeah, yeah.
so.
Yeah, it's
I
completely different.
I
Yep.
am right now. I'm being humble and I'm building. And the promotion that I worked with, this Mexico promotion, was really great the last time. So we
Mhm.
decided to work with them again, and I think it's a good thing. I don't know. They're the only promotion that I've experienced so far, and they've been super super accommodating. So I'm hoping that every other promotion is like that. So I'm just, I'm just the little old me, the little old new flower, the new girl on the block. I don't know. I think being in the boxing world though and having the knowledge of what like the production
Mhm.
should be like coming from the influencer world will be a great middle ground to like kind of look at on perspective wise.
Gotcha. Shout out to JR Promotions there. That's gonna be the one hit leading the fight card over in Mexico there for your second bout there because you were there for your first bout, so you're getting
Yeah.
right back at it there once again. You know what I mean?
I think I'm
Um,
like bout number 2 or 3 this time because the last time the live stream didn't go on, so I had to upload
mm,
it to Twitter. So I was like, all right,
word.
cool.
Yep, for sure, for
And
sure.
like,
So,
so I'm gonna get more content this time. I need
mhm,
to kind of like show y'all the behind the scenes. Um, and yeah, just like evolve. Oh, there's Anissa. Yeah,
yeah,
I've been sparring some tall girls. Yo, I need that tall work. Anissa's like 5'11", so that's like
Yeah,
past Fendora's height.
that's past Fedora's height there, yo, at 5'9". So
I
I
know,
mean,
no. Do
yeah,
you see me? I'm like literally looking up to her. I'm like, bruh.
yep.
I love her. She's superwoman. She is 3-1. She is a great fucking athlete. Nisa Rodriguez was great to spar. It was great to learn off of her. She has a
Hmm.
lot of experience, and she's also an NYPD officer and manages NYC cops and kids
Hmm.
with Pat Russo. She does a lot for like the community and kids. So she she's a freaking beast, bro. If anything, I want to be her when I grow up. Like, damn. And she got like a whole ass family too, bro. Like, superwoman. Superwoman.
Mm. So I mean, you're definitely getting that work in, with her along with a number of other fighters, competitors, and things like that to prepare
Mm-hmm.
you. And you had that over the course of your, like as we were mentioning there, your transition to becoming a full time professional boxer.
Yeah, that was
We,
a
we
few
talked
weeks
about
ago,
yeah.
actually.
So I mean, you talk about this work in New York, and of course, we talked about you going out there to like top ranked gym in Las Vegas and a number of other
Mhm.
gyms there in Vegas to be able to get all that work.
I was
So it's
just at
definitely huge.
knockouts in LA. Yeah, that was cool. I saw Babyface Assassin, Mizuki, Right Hook Roxy, like
Mm.
that was fun.
Oh,
And it
they
was
oh
good to
yeah.
look at a different style because
Mhm.
um I think every coast has a different style, and in New York the amateur scene is more poppin' than the professional scene right now.
Mhm.
I feel like there is more amateurs than there is pros. There are pros out here, so like, I'm not like decreasing us, but like
Right.
the USA Boxing Metros is very popular out here, and it's a great
Mhm.
organization. So I feel like the amateur style is what I was used to, because obviously I was at a different gym in my influencer days, and I was sparring a lot of amateurs. So going to
Yeah.
LA, going to Vegas, that those were two completely different styles too.
Mhm.
Like it was good. It was real good to see like where I'm at, and to like humbly like be in a place to where like not everyone knows you, So
Yeah.
yeah, and especially so in those cases I like, you know, overachieving because, people don't know you. But in a case
Right.
like how me and Nisa are sparring, that's actually candid of us. She was telling me something that I do frequently that I'm aware but also unaware at the same time I do, and she's like, "Brooklyn, this is what's happening. This is what you need to do to fix it." And I like those closed knit spars because then it's more of I'm finding myself not only as like
Mhm.
a person but as a fighter. And especially during that sparring session, I was going through a lot of anxiety, bro. Like a lot of
Mm.
personal thoughts were coming through. Um, but Nisa was really good to work with because she was like coming at it from like a teacher's point of view. Because like I said, she
Mhm.
got that cop background. She also uh, had like a extensive amateur career. Oh, I was joking in that picture with her.
Yeah.
I was joking in that picture with her. And yeah, like it was coming for like a big sis type movement. I
Mhm.
liked those enclosed spars. Yeah, that was a few weeks ago. Um but she's amazing. So everyone go follow her. I think it's Sweet Destruction, something like that. Yeah, she was good. I also sparred Precious, and Precious is getting ready for a fight with Cyborg.
Cyborg. Yep.
um I learned a lot from that too.
Mhm.
um yeah, it was good work. It was good work. I'm gonna finish off. I have a couple of other sparring scheduled. um and it's more like upstate and like Connecticut type thing. So I'm gonna finish off camp with that. Then I fly to
Mhm.
LA, and then I go to Mexico, and then I go collect a W, another W to the
Exactly.
record.
Like, and that's something there. We talked about working with a number of those fighters, and you see here like in the comments there they got it from Team Chris Cyborg there, with the whole team, and then Chris Cyborg herself. Like you mentioned, is gonna
I
be
love
fighting
Chris.
in California. And I talked with her a couple weeks ago as far as like her getting prepared, for her fight. That she's been working up in Washington, the state of Washington,
With the
for that fight.
Benavides crew, I love
Yep,
that for
that's
her.
right.
I have so
That's
much
right.
love for her.
So she's been doing a thing there, but like also like you said, you're getting those lessons there as far as like working with taller fighters and fighters with a lot of experience there, because as you mentioned, with you not having that amateur boxing background, you have to
Kind of
adapt
play
or
catch
learn
up
from
and like learn on the
number.
job.
Yep,
Yeah.
pretty much like learn on the job there on that front.
Yeah, no, like sparring with Nisa especially was very helpful because she is tall. Like I gotta be prepared for tall people. I'm
Hmm.
4'11" for crying out loud. She was a foot
Yep.
taller than me. Yeah, that's OD. There were some times where I could not reach her, but like it's all learning experience, you know? Like
Hmm.
I have not giving too much away, but I have a style. I think this style works and we're just perfecting it now. And I'm just kind of overcoming my emotional demons and
Gotcha.
overcoming my emotions, becoming a better person, becoming a better fighter. I know I keep saying that because that's what I keep going through my head because that's what this whole camp is about. And then getting me down back to my healthy weight, getting out of my depressive shit and becoming a baller because big deal like as the whole personality is it's something so much bigger than people realize,
Mhm.
just like how Jake Paul is like evolving his most valuable. Like I envision leaving a mark on this industry before I dip out and have a family and live my life. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you got
like
that plan. You know what I mean? You got that plan
mhm.
here. You know what I mean?
And
So
having the following and having people like talk about me, and even if it's shit talking, like it really helps because it puts my names in conversations and puts my names in people's mind to be like, oh well, who is this girl, and search me up and kind of see who I am. um yeah, like I don't know, I think that me being in the professional scene and especially me taking the decision and or making this decision, sorry, to stay here for this camp, it was good because I had to kind of be that adult. I'm always flying around, like we all
yeah,
know. I'm like
yeah,
I'm always on a plane, bro. Like I'm
yep.
sorry. Like I had to have a solid month where I did
Hmm.
not fly. I needed a solid month and I achieved that month and then I retreated to Hawaii. So, but it's like the thing is like with me, I'm so like spontaneous, I'm so sporadic. If you guys believe in horoscopes, I'm a Sagittarius, that's why I'm fiery. Like, bro, like I feel like that's why in boxing I love it because my energy as a person is just that. But then when I step in the ring, all of like my worries are gone and I'm just
Hmm.
getting every just demon out of me.
All
And
that frustration and what's
yeah,
happening. Yeah, you feel me?
especially the last camp, it was me evolving from getting jumped and getting fucking cyberbullied. Like now I have thicker skin, I can deal with it. I'm a public figure, but like
Hmm.
now this camp is just like, okay, I already achieved it. I know that I'm that bitch. Now let's be that fucking bitch. You know, if somebody's gonna say, "Oh, you're doing too much. You're doing too much." Okay, then you're not enough. Sorry. Bye. Thank you. Next. That doesn't go for just boys. That goes for anything. That goes for business deals. That goes for just things in life that like throw you get thrown at. Like, come on. Like,
Hmm.
you gotta remember who the fuck you are. I say know your worth, add tax. I know
Know
what
that
I
you're
bring to the table, so I
know
ain't
that
no
you're the big
beef.
deal.
Hmm?
Know that you're the big deal, and show them
Mhm.
that you're even bigger. All right, that's pretty much
Yes.
it. All
Oh
right.
my
Remember that.
god. There was this
All right.
girl in the influencer world, bro. Like she would call me small deal and it would grind my my gears, bro. I know I shouldn't be saying this on a live stream because people are gonna like clip that. But like, bro, it would grind my gears because I'm like, bro, we get it. I'm small. Can you come up with a different fucking like insult? Like, come on.
Yeah, like come up with something better. Like you gotta be more creative than that. Like, come on now, what are we doing?
Yeah, it's
What are we
like if
doing?
you went up to, and it's me. It's because I'm female big girl deal. That's why I'm called the big deal. Like Carmela's big deal. Carmela's, I
Mhm.
think, like a few inches taller than me, bro. Like go up to him, or is he tall? Or is he tall? Okay.
Nah, but nah, but
Boxing fans
you're
are
of course,
funny.
but of course you're talking to me, and you know how tall I am in reference to
Oh
that.
my
So
gosh, no, me? I'm like this to you. I'm like, hello, how's the weather
yeah,
up there, sir? Like,
yeah,
bro,
yeah.
at
So,
Benavides, I was like,
but
this man is insane.
so with Corella be around the same thing because he's 5'4", he's listed at 5'4". So I mean that he, for me it's not that much of a difference, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, I'm
So
just saying, once I come in the States, because I am friends with boxers now,
yeah.
obviously. Once I come in the States, like, it's gonna be a whole different ball game. It's gonna be like beef, like Ryan Garcia and Tank and like Rolly. It's gonna be like, it'll be comedy. I cannot wait for new boxers to come in the circuit because obviously the established boxers are amazing, you know?
Mm.
But like once it's like the new wave comes in, oh, yo, boxing is gonna be so entertaining. Not even just from like a content aspect of it.
Mm.
There's gonna be more showboating. There's gonna be more for the people type of matchups.
I
And
think it's they with you coming in is pretty much your era coming in is blending that whole thing as far as like the media marketing, social media, being able to implement all of that into this thing. So it has
yo,
the potential of making
yeah,
real huge. I mean, the
yeah,
thing like I would say like the first one that kind of like established that it looks like to an extent is Jake Paul, and then after
my
that
man.
you now you got that opportunity to say, hey, you know what, we can mix this in, blend this in to say, hey, I got these people that's been paying attention to me for all this time. Now I could bring it in the boxing ring as far as like focusing my efforts in doing this, and that'll make people be very successful on the financial
Mhm.
front actually earlier than a lot of times or a lot of the fighters in the past, because it took them a long time for them to become financially successful, not just the whole thing with being in the ring and being world champions and stuff like that. So that's the
Yeah.
thing about having that social media presence is very
Mhm.
important here, being a professional fighter.
Well, yeah, because what I always say is that the reason why promoters like me just straight up is because of the numbers and attention that I bring to their program.
Mm-hmm.
But there is still a skill divide at this moment of me comparable to a seasoned amateur that turned pro and has been in the pros. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So not putting down on me because I am very good at boxing. I will stand on that 100%. Put me in the ring with anybody. Like, I will hold my ground and I will fight to the
Mm-hmm.
death. But I'm not going to compare myself to fucking, like, Gervonta Davis or freaking Alexander Usyk or Tyson Fury. You know, we can name a bunch of different fighters, even on the
Mm-hmm.
female side. It's like, they have made their legacy, they have made their mark, and they have done their time in this sport.
Mm-hmm.
Me, it has been now officially 2 years as a 420 since I started training, and I'm not even coming up on 2 years of competing, let alone I'm a few months into my professional career.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm a rising star. I will give myself that. I will become something within the next 5 years. But I'm not taking away from the greats. And especially Katie Taylor, bro. Katie Taylor, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, bro. She is a freaking baller and a half. You can see whose side that I'm on. But you know what? I love a
Mm-hmm.
good underdog too. Freaking Amanda Serrano could freaking She busts brains out. She busts brains out. That
Mm.
woman is strong too. Like, see, I can't. It's not comparable. It's like me calling out Katie Taylor or like Amanda Serrano or something. It's like, girl, know your place. Fight up to that place. But you know what? Maybe I'll just come one of these days and steal Gabriella's belt. Maybe,
I
maybe.
don't know. Y'all might have to meet at 118 unless if you
Yeah,
still trying to
I
get
will go down
down.
to
You know what I
12.
mean?
I will go down to 109 for that. I will literally deplete myself. Give me a full camp, full team, nutrition, me not having to worry
Hey,
about shit. Which I do have a good team. I'm not like
yeah,
saying like that, but I'm
yeah,
saying if I like just
yeah. But
if
if
I
you're
even for the
consistent,
Francesca
right?
Hennessy fight, those are the
Mm-hmm.
types of camps that I'm gonna be paying for. Like
Mm-hmm.
the types of camps I'm paying for are amazing right now, but it could be better. It always could be better. So I'm always, and especially when we start getting those fights, because even like with the Sharana Metcalf stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'll call her out in New York or like something like that because yeah, like I want
You'll
those
be out there in New
opportunities.
York in July 11th. You know, it's gonna be
Hey yo, I will
crazy.
be like, yo, who city you in? Who city you in? I I could see my ass piping shit for the cameras, bro. I could see that shit. And especially it'll be a Jake Paul event and it's an all girls card.
Yep.
Like it's legendary. Like but there's a lot of stuff that's going to be in boxing that people need to look out for. And what I really would love to push, honestly, in this sport, coming from the
Mm-hmm.
Gen Z side, is more open mindedness. Because I feel like the old heads, they're stuck in their ways, which respectfully, valid. It is so valid because, like, that is how boxing is. They have done their time, they have done their dues,
Mm-hmm.
they have been around the block more times than I could fucking count. And but the hate on like Jake Paul and like influencers like myself stepping into the scene, I think it's a little eh. But like if you earn your stripes, like for example, prime example, Jake earned his stripes. All right, he has done so many matches at this point. It's like
Mm-hmm.
he is so far gone from when he did like the Deji fight when he first started.
Right. Yeah.
Um, so once you surpass that point, I feel like you just should be respected. Me, it's kind of valid because I literally debuted like 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
In next year, I don't want to hear no bullshit because at that time I'll be 4-0. Like
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm building, and I will be I will be on the big screens doing big deal shit per usual, but like, whatever. I really do want to face off Sharena though, Metcalf. I really would love to. I want to see how
Yeah. Because
tall
I
she
was,
is. I want to see like
I was
how
gonna say though, because I was about to like put up something here there, because I know
is
you live
she is
right
she
here.
five is she 5'11"? Is she Nisa's height?
Well, who, who,
Metcalf.
oh, Metcalf. No, I think she's more of like what we got. Hold on, let me see if I got it here. Hold on, if I can do it. She's 5'7.5".
Oh,
Uh,
you know what? Maybe that work with Nisa will help. I'm prepared.
mhm. So there you go. So I mean, she got her, her
14,
upcoming
4,
bout.
and 1. Oh, she about to be 14 and 5.
Oh, I mean, she got the big fight there against Dina Thornsland, so that's gonna be a top bout there
She'll be
on her
14 and
level.
6.
So so we
I'm
definitely
trolling.
gotta,
I'm trolling, but like I love just like damn. I would
you know.
love to go up against for like a belt like that because especially the reason why if I do like anything content wise to call out Metcalf, like
Mhm.
it's just because like for the storyline, for the plot, and like I feel like it could be a really good Rocky story when I do beat her. So
I mean, you have
yeah,
her. You got a number of great competitors there at that particular weight class there. So I
I
mean, I
would
know that
never
you
go up
wanna.
against Miyu. I cannot go up against Miyu. That girl,
Yeah.
I love her. I look up to
We also,
her.
we also over in our area we have up and rising competitor there, Rihanna Rios. That's been doing the thing in that particular weight class as well. Like
Let's freaking go. Let's
I've
freaking
seen her
go. I'll take
handle
it.
that fight in San Antonio. So I mean, hey,
Yo,
you can
I'll
have
take
that
it.
fight later on
I'll
down the line
take
too.
it. I'll take it. Put me in
Yeah,
a ring.
like you
Let's
said,
go.
you
You
want to
want
take
some
on all
heavyweights? Put some
companies. I mean,
heavyweights in here.
she's had like nine fights, nine pro fights here so far, but you could really try to catch up and get to her here later on.
Yo, I will go up against anybody. Sky, you want to avenge? You want to try to avenge your loss and get another one? Hmm. I'll go back up to feather, or hey, Henny, bantam or flyweight. Just say.
Yeah. But like I said, it's gonna be part of the process here while you're having these few fights because
Actually,
the
no.
more
But the
often,
one thing is
yeah,
the difference between me and like the traditional boxers. There's the like build up, but they just speed run me. They try to put me like as an opponent, and I'm not. And I proved to everybody that I got like a legitimate opponent, and I fucking knocked her out. And I'm gonna keep doing that until y'all give me a freaking title. And then I'm gonna take that title and I'm gonna just freaking dance on it, bro. Like I'm gonna be that bitch with the belt 24/7. I already know. All right, I have to keep
that would
stress
be
on.
that would be like the thing as far as like having a 24/7 like thing where you have your phone or something like that, just walking around and just showing your belt everywhere you go and being in the crib and sleeping with the belt or whatever it is. You can have something like that.
Obviously, it sometimes it will be down, all right, but like, yeah, when I get a belt and shit, like, I'm gonna be stunting that shit. I would be that girl in the club because I do not drink. I don't drink, but I do like going out with my friends because New York City is pretty
Yeah,
vibrant, obviously. But I would be that girl on like somewhere nowhere. It's an amazing bar in like Chelsea, on top of the little roof thing with the belt, being like, ooh, 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 guess who just
oh,
won?
there's like one of them rooftop bars, yeah, that some
I love
people.
somewhere nowhere. They have good freaking food, bro.
So so I know that
There's
there's a number of them where you be able to show off the belt once you get one and
if
things
the
like that.
mayor can show up to the like clubs and shit like Tao, I'm gonna show up to Tao with my belt. Just saying. I've been to Tao. Like they don't know me, but like I always pull up with my promoter friends,
Yep.
and they know I'm the professional boxer girl. Just saying. Just saying.
Now like you said, you've been there, doing your work in camp in New York City, and
Mhm.
well, this past weekend they had a big event there, right in the middle of Times Square.
I avoided
Hmm.
it like the plague, bro. And a part of me wishes that, I would have gone in there, but no, my anxiety was high and I'm in fight camp. So I
Yeah,
decided not to. And also, personal opinion, I get it, the prince is there and shit, Turkey, but they should have had it as like a public event.
that's the general consensus. They should have had it as a public event. Like, I
Why was
mean,
there was like I saw on people's Snapchats there was a gate, and then
yeah,
I saw people. I'm not gonna say who because obviously like I'm not a
yeah.
snitch, but I had some friends that I saw on their Instagram stories. They were high up in the high rises, looking
Hmm.
down at the
Oh yeah,
match on
yeah. That's
mute,
yeah,
on
yeah,
mute, and then they bought the pay per view on the zone so they can hear the commentary. And
yeah,
I'm like, what the heck? Like, where would you watch it? Like, I did
yeah.
not know where the
But they
heck they
had
would
like
watch.
stuff on the monitors out there too, so like people could watch it on those monitors. But I've
Yeah,
seen
no,
a few
the
other.
gate had a
Yeah.
monitor.
Yeah, but I've seen a few other folks that were like in those buildings that were surrounding that scene, and they were able to look down and see the ring too. So, but yeah, like I don't understand like why
I
they
should
would
have
have
got a
it
hotel at Margaritaville.
right.
I
you
should
know,
have done that. Been like, yeah,
but
I don't want to go in the crowd, but I'll watch.
yeah, but you
Cause
watch. Yeah, I mean, but they might have something here coming up on July 12th. It's rumored that they may do something again in Central Park. Now, and that's they say July
That's
12th,
closer to me.
but we're gonna have that all female event on July 11th in Madison Square Garden. So
A
you can have
weekend
a
full
whole
of
weekend.
boxing.
Yeah, yeah. That would definitely be something. That would definitely be something. But I mean, I
Yo!
already hey, but I was thinking about it and I'm like, I checked these hotel prices before all of that, and I'm like, geez, it's already ridiculous as it is. So
This is why I love living alone. I live in a 3 bedroom. I have literally just I fly out with friends and we chill. And for the Serrano matchup, I was having like an all girl slumber party. This is why you need to make friends in New York. I think that I think that the what the boxing community lacks is genuine friendships. Like you can't have a sleepover with a boxer and not feel
mm,
the competitiveness. I don't feel the competitiveness, but every time it's like you say something like positive, they're like, "What the fuck? Why is that? Why is that happening to her? Oh my god!" Like, I can't.
no, but
This is
I
why
kind
I'm
of feel
friends
you
with
having
crypto
like
people and influencers.
like having a 3 bedroom or a 2 bedroom or something like that to at least have
I want to move to Brooklyn though. I want to move to
mm,
Brooklyn.
mm,
Imagine Brooklyn and Brooklyn because I'm in Manhattan right now.
right, yeah,
Uh Brooklyn and Brooklyn, and I wanna have a Team Brooklyn house. You'll see a lot from me.
right, yeah, that'll be part of that whole Team Brooklyn thing. So yeah, I
Team
would
Brooklyn
definitely see how
boxing,
that
it's a
would make sense.
movement,
Yeah,
baby. Big deal's a
exactly.
movement.
Exactly. And that's why we're looking forward to seeing what's going to be going down here. Like I said, May 31st and everything like that, so that you get to that particular point where you'll be at around bantamweight. So, like you said, doing that work
Next
there in New
week.
York. You
Next
know,
week. I'll send you a weight checkup next week.
okay,
Trust.
okay, yeah. So you'll be able to do that. And how was your constant contact with Emily there, Emily Pendelakis, as far as like how she's guiding your career here in this next
I love
over.
Emily. So
You know?
Emily took on more responsibility at Benavides. So
Mhm.
now I have a publicist named Janae.
Okay.
And obviously me and Emily are still friends. We would text each other, send each other memes. Like when in time when she gets more free time,
Hmm.
then obviously I'm gonna hire her again. But with the whole Benavides house and everything, she just got like a lot of, responsibilities and stuff. So I didn't take it personal. I'm glad that she's in my life because she is not only like um a mother or like a sister figure to me, but she is a really good friend and she is a really big help to my career. She believes in me and it's genuine. So it's not like she realistically, Emily is a badass. She don't need me for shit. She already has like she's the godmother of anything publicity. I think that she's the smartest woman ever. So yeah, but Emily and I are chill. I said what's up to her. I told her that I did camp in New York. She was glad I was doing okay. I'm glad that she's doing okay. You know, love her. I'm sending all my love to her if this gets clipped. Mwah.
Word, for sure. And as we mentioned there before, you had the thing there with Team Chris Cyborg, and working with her, over the years. There's
I love Cyborg.
so she like I
Wait,
mentioned,
I
she
have
has
a
something coming
Cyborg
up.
T-shirt actually. I think.
I think
Yes, I
she's supposed to
do.
be the 17th. Where's this thing at?
What?
Yo, no, go ahead and get the shirt.
I have a Team Chris Cyborg shirt. You can see I wear this. This probably smells like shit, but yeah,
Yeah,
Team Chris
right.
Cyborg.
Yep, yep. So
Yeah,
that was the thing.
baby.
You
Um,
know,
a,
she,
a team from Cops and Kids is going up against her. So
yeah,
I'm curious. I'm curious to see this matchup. I really am. So I
yep,
know both of the fighters. I'm staying neutral. So I'm curious to see what it is. But
yeah.
Chris knows. Chris knows me, bro. Let's just say that. Like that team is I love that team. Chris Cyborg, love you, man.
And yeah, that's coming up next Saturday. There with that fight in California. So that's 2 weeks before your fight. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be a very busy, like I said, the next few weeks here for you. So you got a lot to look forward to
Yeah,
with that.
weight cutting, sparring, doing the most.
Word, word, no doubt,
At
no
least
doubt.
there's no boy troubles this camp. So
So yeah, you don't have to worry about all that. You don't have to worry about some
minor,
phone
but
calls and
not too deep.
yeah. You don't have to worry about no amount of phone calls, text messages on that type tip.
Oh my
You don't have
gosh,
to worry
I
about that. All right.
know.
So that way you could stay fully focused on what you need to do in order to prepare for your upcoming bout here May 31st.
Hey yo, I get those notifications. I look at them. I'm like, hey, buddy, I'm
Okay.
cutting weight. I got 5 pounds. Like,
You're like, yeah, okay. So you don't, yeah, like I said, you don't necessarily have to worry about all that. So we're definitely looking forward to what's coming up here on May 31st. There, JR Promotions on San Luis, Colorado, there, Mexico. Here for you having that upcoming fight and getting the 2-0. That's what we're waiting on for you to get the 2-0.
yeah, baby. I'm so excited.
For
This
sure.
is gonna be the best thing since sliced bread. I'm calling it right now.
You said that you had like now you already said that you went out to Hawaii there for a little bit, but then after this one you're gonna have another like kind of like a little semi trip as far as like a little break there
Yeah,
out there.
I'm gonna
So
go home to Orange County. If you guys don't know where Orange County is, it's an hour from Los Angeles, in between LA and San Diego. I'm gonna go and like just chill there, come back to New York. I'm having like a bonfire with my friends in Orange County. We're just gonna drink, have some fun. Again, we're all over the age. I gotta like say that because apparently I look young. Uh, but and then I'm gonna go back to New York, and it's gonna be like summertime out here, and I love summer New York. So I'm gonna be like a little bit fat. Well, start working, like doing my shit. Like I gotta be back in the gym, so clock in those hours,
right.
do that.
Hmm.
Like it is what it is. It's mostly when I get back, I'm gonna also get like a property. Like I said, I wanna get like that Team Brooklyn house, and that would be cool. Or even like a cool little apartment, because this is the pink apartment.
Hmm.
So, it's customized more over there. But I want to have like my Brooklyn and Brooklyn moment, and especially like fuck, I am a professional boxer now. I need to start operating like I'm in business mode, which I have been, but like I need to do it more. I need to like strictly be like, all right, it is do or die at this point because I got to do the most. I really do. I really do. And if people can't handle that, then that's on them. That's why they call me Big Deal. I always love doing that persona though, being like, "Yep," because I genuinely, it's not delusion at all. I know I'm gonna win. I know that I'm going to be a remarkable name in boxing. No delusion in there at all. It's just now I have the resources, I have the money, I have everything in order. I have all my ducks aligned now. It's time to build the house. Like the foundation is there.
Yep.
So
It's
yeah.
just time to get that 2-story, 3-story house. To get that built. That's pretty much what it is.
Mm-hmm. And then obviously clean up the big deal name. People have advised me to change my name. Like when I was at top rank, people were talking about no, like why are you big deal? Like no, that don't suit you. We'll pick a name for you. And I'm like, okay. But like I've been in gyms, they've called me BK, like that's short for Brooklyn. Um Pinky, like all this shit, like it's just big deal. Like big deal stuck, and I get it. It was an influencer persona, but like
Hmm.
it's still I feel like a big part of me. Because big deal is not controversial at all. she's just very unfiltered. But Brooklyn, and this is why I feel like it's a part of me, I
Mm-hmm.
divide my personalities. Brooklyn is more chill, straight to the point, just a girl in this world evolving, learning, growing. I'm 25. I keep saying that because I'm young as shit. And Big Deal makes it seem like she is all knowing, the fucking greatest of all time because she is. But like, she does it OD because that's what is appealing to the customer, to the boxing community. And if you don't like that unfiltered personality, then you gotta fight her. There's been
Mm-hmm.
murmurs in gyms of like whenever I walk in or they see me on Instagram, they're like, "Oh, I want to kick her ass." Okay, bet. Get your 16-ounce gloves on. I got my mouth guard and my headgear. Like, let's go.
Like
Like,
you ready to go? Yeah.
like that's what it is. And like, I had to realize that some people just genuinely don't want to see you win. Like getting jumped made me realize that it's as fucked up as it sounds. Like when multiple people just don't like you and they're pouncing on you, it really shows you A, how fucked up society is, and B, how to evolve, especially in the boxing world. Because how do you go from the lowest of lows, you get to the highest of highs? How does a basketball get into a hoop? Bounce down, shoot up. So it is what it is, and Big Deal is going to be a lot, and it's something you guys do need to look out for this year because, especially, we're dating this podcast like middle of May. Imagine we're gonna do more podcasts, obviously, guys, because we're
Mm-hmm.
friends and shit. You
Yep.
can clip this and then see in future podcasts of like more accomplishments and more growth that I've been doing because again, that's what I love about being an influencer. You guys are watching me grow. I grew up on the internet. You guys are watching me grow into a person. I'm a normal person. I'll go into the
Mm-hmm.
X spaces. And when I'm a fucking belt holder, fucking on high as a kite, like, I'm going to still remember these moments to where, for example, in Vegas, he pulls me aside, tells me some tea, and then films it. It's like those little moments with the people that have been there with me, especially like brunch boxing and a bunch of other people like Adrian and shit in the space. You're
Mm-hmm.
gonna see me go from zero to hero. So watch out for me. That's what all you guys need to know.
That's pretty much the deal. Is we're gonna see you, build yourself along the way in your professional career to eventually, get to that point where you fight for and win a world championship. So definitely gonna be here,
Yes.
step by step along the way.
I'm
But
coming
like,
for that WBA belt, bro. I'm coming, Fran. I'm coming.
but now we're pretty much like I said, a few weeks away from step two in your
Yep.
second pro fight here coming up May 31st. So definitely looking forward to that. And
Looking forward to it too.
hey, all right, we'll see about arranging to have the next one here after that fight takes place, so we could see
I
you
need a
like the
US
champion.
belt. Hit me up, promoters.
Yeah, you gotta hit her up for sponsorships and everything like that. So that's what she's looking for there. So you be sure to,
US
of
sponsor
course,
Team
look.
Brooklyn. I get millions of impressions a month. I'll send you all the screenshots.
So you look her up there on social media. All you got to do look up Brooklyn Barwick. You know what I'm saying? Team Brooklyn Boxing, and you'll be able to see the big deal right there. So that's how you'll be
Let's
able to find her and get
go!
everything. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
big thanks, of course, as always, for chopping it up with me here on the Boxing Source here on this midweek report. So we're definitely looking forward to what's coming up here on May 31st.
Alrighty.
All right, for sure, for sure.
Sorry, I was checking the chats. Alright, bye guys.
All right. So that is, of course, Brooklyn Barwick having her upcoming fight May 31st. They're said going to be in Mexico. So definitely look forward to that. We're going to be following her on social media for any updates on the fight, and like I said, how you'll be able to watch the fight and things like that. So definitely want to follow her on social media, and also of course follow us on the Boxing Source on social media. We'll be able to share all of that stuff when she does have that upcoming fight. You know what I mean? So that's a whole deal there. Definitely looking forward to that there on May 31st. And we of course have a lot of action that's coming up. here this weekend. Been a very busy week, at least here on the channel. You know what I mean? You had the whole thing that was on Monday, right? Where we talked about, 10 years of podcast here for the Boxing Source. You did have that, right? And then, the following day, we had the debut or the first episode of Real Boxing with Coach Ronnie Shields here on the Boxing Source YouTube channel. So you'll be able to catch that on the YouTube channel and everything. And so, you're having a whole series of content here for you on the Boxing Source, and definitely you're working more to get what we need here on this thing. So that's what we got here so far. So now we got this stuff as far as like what's coming up this Saturday, right? We got fights on Pro Box. We got Top Rank with a couple of key fights coming up. 2 world title bouts of sorts here, so we're going to be looking into that, right? But you'll want to get into that here. Try to break things down here in a second. So first, I wanted to talk about this thing here with Pro Box. We got the headlining bout out there in Kissimmee, Florida, right? You're gonna have Erickson Lubin versus Ardreal Holmes Jr. There in this one. And this is going to be a key bout because, they are pretty highly rated in the IBF, right? I think Erickson Lubin right now is the highest rated fighter at 154 in the IBF rankings. And so this is, one thing here that I kind of like bring up in reference to that, right? Now, it says here, does Lubin have to get a knockout in this bout against Ardreal Holmes to create buzz at the top of 154 pounds? You had Erickson Lubin, of course, has been at one point was a rising contender there at 154 pounds. Had the bout against Charly, ended up being a first round knockout. Then he was trying to climb up the rankings there once again after that knockout and got a string of victories there against the likes of Ishe Smith, Nathaniel Gallimore, Terrell Gausha, and Jason Rosario before he had his bout against Sebastian Fundora in 2022. And that one was one of those serious fight of the year candidates between those two fighters, right? And he ended up scoring a knockdown in that bout, but just couldn't withstand the ongoing pressure there of Sebastian Fundora and ended up having that fight stopped within 9 rounds. So then he had to do a regroup and all that type of stuff, and then had a big bout against Jesus Ramos Jr. at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas in September of 2023, where he ended up getting a unanimous decision victory. Now, a number of people there, felt that Jesus Ramos got that win. But I was there live. Was there covering that fight card. For me, just being honest, I felt like Erickson Lubin did get that win. You feel me? I felt like he did get that win. And after that, it kind of like looked like there was some, real strange things going on. At least it felt like it was to me up until, Lubin had pretty much like stated that there was an injury or whatnot. You know what I mean? So he was, recovering from a minor injury, thought he would be able to get back in the ring before the end of last year. That didn't necessarily happen, right? So with that being said, now try to get a fight in and be back in the mix at 154 pounds. And now he's going to be facing Ardreal Holmes Jr., who has a record of 17-0, right? 17-0 there with 6 of those wins by way of knockout. Is there at like 6'2" with a reach of 74.5. But like I said there with Erickson Lubin, I mean, he's fought, like I said, the tallest guy out there in the 154-pound division, and pretty much like the tallest there to be a world champion in Sebastian Fundora. He's even taller than Daniel Dubois, who's a heavyweight champion. You feel me? So with that being said, right, Erickson Lubin is gonna try to deal with this height and reach advantage that Ardreal Holmes has on one side. But then on the other side too, though, is that his overall experience in these big fights is going to be a key factor here against Ardreal Holmes. Ardreal Holmes, to me, is facing a guy that is completely different than these. The Marlon Harringtons, the Wendy Toussaints, the Ismail Valerials that he's faced here in the past. You know what I mean? So that is a huge step up there for Ardreal Holmes Jr., right? I'm trying to look at the books. Sometimes I talk about the books here on the Midweek Report, and I'm seeing here if they actually have this on. So I got to look this up. Let me go ahead and see if I can look for it here if it is visible, but it ain't looking like it's. All right, here you go. All right, bet. So they got on the books here on the DraftKings. They got Erickson Lubin at -300 and Ardreal Holmes at +225. So they do have Erickson Lubin as a 3-1 favorite here for this bout. That's going to be on ProBox TV. And Ardreal Holmes is there at pretty much a 2-1 underdog on that front. You feel me? So that was the thing on that. You know what I mean? So let's see here, man. So I gotta check something also real quick on this thing. So let me see here. I wanted to try something else on this. When it came to this thing here with the report. So let me see here. I wanted to check something on that. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. So hold on a second, because I wanted to try to bounce up a few things here and there. Let me see if I got this, because I think YouTube and done pretty much did some dirty work. All right, it did some dirty work. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna rehash that there in a little bit later, because I want to revisit a few things here real quick. I want to get my guests back on. You know what I'm saying? I want to get my guests back on here, because YouTube be YouTubing sometimes. I ain't even see.
It's
Yeah,
unlisted.
yeah. I ain't even know they pulled that off on me, because I put the thing on public. You feel me? And then now I realized that the joint was like on that. I'm like, what in the world is going on? Even with me sharing it, like I was like sharing this whole thing and all types of stuff. You feel me? So
That's wild.
yeah. I don't know. Sometimes YouTube be doing that to me on that front. I don't understand it.
Just upload it as a video.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like a lot of people, they'll be able to catch up on it. But since I do have you back on here, right? I know we were talking about a number of those fighters there in the bantamweight division and also in the flyweight division, but we gotta revisit, because like you said, you're trying to, hey, what's up, Cat? So we're trying to see you're getting down to a certain weight there. You know what I mean? So it could be super flyweight, or probably flyweight, or even below flyweight, because you're talking about being at 108 and things like that. So hey, we can talk about all of those possible matchups that could be out there for you. I know that you've been calling out one particular fighter from the jump. You know what I mean? But but there's still a lot of options out there, particularly in these weight classes. You know what I mean? So I know that there was what is it here, super flyweight, you could do your thing there, super flyweight as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. We could do a lot. We could do a lot. I don't know. I would be so fucking skinny. I would be so fucking skinny. But it's okay.
So
I
okay,
had
man.
to bite
So
my tongue because I was gonna say a joke, but I'm good. No.
okay, so then what would
Skeleton.
you say is your ideal weight that you would want to compete
15.
in for a good little minute?
15. So 18
115?
maybe.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So then yeah,
Maybe
you'd be there
12.
around that flyweight then.
Yeah.
So you could make it there that flyweight. So hey, listen, like I was saying, there you got Gabriela Fundora there is the undisputed champ. So I mean, you
Maybe
know,
that work with Nisa was worth it. Come on, like.
so you could have that instance there where you could potentially fight for one of those titles that she has there. Depending on what she does here in the next few fights.
Who knows? Who knows? Make more money than my cat ever did, bro. My cat was an NFT. I'm gonna be $1 million boxer.
Hey, there you go. So hey, you're able to kind of like surpass that there here at this particular point.
Yeah, but no, I think it'll be a good matchup, especially WBC. Um, it would be really good exposure, not only just like the purse aspect of it. It would also be a really good challenge in my life. So Gabriella, I could be coming for you too. Chicken Metcalf, I could be coming for your IBF belt. Just saying.
Hey, I mean, yeah, the thing with Metcalf, she does have that big fight coming up here July 11th. So that's why I was like, I mean, after do your thing and handle your business, you could be right out there
I
at
would be
Madison Square
so
Garden.
skinny. I'll be like, hey girl, I'm at your weight right now. Can we go fight right now? You wanna say fuck that opponent? Let's go step in the ring real quick.
But I mean, at the same time, too, right? If you show up there, given that Metcalf is recently signed to MVP, it's like, hey, look, hey Jake, look, I'm here, I'm the
Hey
big
yo,
deal.
Jake, I'm the female version. Hook it up, Buttercup.
So
Literally.
that's the thing about it. Like you could, because I think that'll be a huge matchup there, of course, there with Thorsland and Metcalf there, on that MVP card on July 11th. And so you could be like, you know what? I see what's going on
Once
with
I
with
told her
these.
once she handles business on this end, I'll be waiting. I have nothing but respect for her. She knows where I stand. She knows I will always say me in the end. And I think she'll do the same. You got to bet on yourself first.
That's the thing about it. Always got to bet on yourself, because if you don't believe in you, then why do you expect anyone else to believe in you? Then, you feel me?
Hmm.
So that was the thing on that. And with this upcoming bout here, May 31st and stuff like that, I know that you said you'll be around at what, the first or second bout, I think you will be there on the card.
Yeah, if I'm the first bout, I'm going to be like, bro, not again. Prelims.
Yeah, we can't necessarily have that. We got to have you closer to the main event and things like that. So more people you'll be able to say, hey, you know what, we saw this go down. We saw her take care of business and get a knockout there in the second pro fight. You know what I mean?
I want to be on like a Danny Garcia or a Salidas promotions card after this. That would be so cool. And
Well,
I found
Danny,
out I'm the only Jewish female boxer in the United States of America. There's only two of us. All right. So, yeah.
well, I mean, you got well, the week after you have your fight, Salida Promotions is going to be having their fight
Price
card
Taylor is on it.
in
My
it.
friend
Yeah,
Price is on it.
yeah. So,
Bet
so
all your money on Price. Not financial advice, but also financial advice. Then this is not sponsored by Price. This is sponsored by Team Brooklyn LLC.
yep. But I got to get in contact with Dimitri Salida too, because I mean,
I want
have
that
a thing.
number too.
Yeah. But I mean, at one point, I'm able to call them and talk with them, and then at another point, it's like I don't know what's going on. Just being real, you know what I mean? But hey,
Salidas. Yo, shalom, motherfucker. I
so,
love him. I would love to like grab a beer or something with him and just like pick his brain. I would love to be the representation for Israel, especially like those are my people, you know.
Yep. So and he definitely did his thing in his professional career, and now he's been doing this thing here as a
He's
promoter too.
iconic. He's
So
iconic.
yeah, would be very interesting to see that pairing there with you and
Yo, that
Demetrius.
collaboration would go insane.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll be able to share information to him and things like that, so that once he gets himself in the gear closer to when he has that fight card there at the Turning Stone Resort and Casino there on June 6th, that he'll see if he could get something worked out and done to maybe have you fight on one of his cards, whether it's gonna be, well, I mean, usually he has a number of his fight cards in Michigan, so he could try to do that. And I mean, they recently, well, I don't know.
I know what you're about to say. Mm-hmm. I would have to
Yeah, so
do
I don't know if we could
I
do
know, no, no, it's
something on
okay.
that
I would have to
particular
do
date
no,
with that
it's
headliner,
okay.
but maybe, I don't know, maybe we could arrange something else. I don't know.
Cold turkey. Cold turkey.
Oh man. Oh, let me see. Oh goodness, there. That would have been something there, because I thought about it and then I'm like, you know what?
No, I would do Michigan. I would do Michigan.
Okay.
But between me and you, cold turkey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Y'all, it's a fact. Like if people can piece it together, but I'm not gonna say word for word on
Right.
YouTube.
Right. Yeah.
It's a
So
fact. Check out my shorts. That industry is on there too. Like,
so there you go. But yeah, that would be something there, because like you were mentioning there, you had a couple of things. I think it was like a couple of featured articles about you in reference to being a Jewish boxer. So that,
mm,
like I said, having Demetrius Lita out there doing this thing as a promoter now, that would be a very good pairing if we could work something out on that.
for sure it would. For freaking sure it would.
Yep, no doubt, no doubt. So,
Mm.
and I'm trying to see what's up here. Hey, shout out to my guy, Just Do Boxing, stepping in the building. That, as I say, the guru of boxing talk, man. Peace, there, my brother, man. Just checking me out
Did you
from
finally
Brooklyn
put
Barwick
it
on the
live?
Midweek Report. Yeah. So that thing finally switched over, so it corrected itself. I was like, I didn't know
No,
what was going on.
my whole interview is cut, and I can't even see you on the thing.
Like it'll rehash and recalibrate itself there once this thing is over. So once the replay is out there, it'll have that the full joint there from that point. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know why YouTube had the thing switched over, because I had it like in public when I originally set it. You know what I mean? So I don't know what was going on that. But yeah, you definitely looking to see what's up here, because you said you're going to be in London later this year.
Yep. There is no like ink to paper. Let's say if Salidas picks me up and like I have to do a card for him, I'll do it.
Word,
Mm-hmm.
word. But like
Word.
you said, it's pretty much like to get you to that weight that you're trying to get yourself down to.
Literally, when I'm like done with this, it's about to be 9 o'clock. I'm gonna DoorDash some salt for my bath, and then I'm gonna go run. I canceled my sauna tonight, and I'm gonna do double in the morning at 8 a.m. So I gotta leave my
Mm,
house at 6.
mm. So be like two, pretty much like two a days or something out there,
Mhm.
as they say sometimes. I mean,
Yeah,
word.
it is what it
Yep,
is.
that's for sure. That's for sure. So like I
It
said,
is.
definitely looking forward to what's going to be coming up here. And like I said, I want to actually, let me see, what would be a good one. Probably let's reconvene. What it would be June, either June. Well, not the following week. The following week after your fight, but I would say like after that, like June 11th or maybe June 18th or something like that.
Okay.
So we'll follow up with what went down with your fight. So we'll be
Yeah.
able to schedule that, get back
Love
on
it.
the mix. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to
Mhm.
in the building and said the grind is real. Yep.
Grind is real, bro.
Yep, for sure, for sure. So that's the thing. I definitely wanted to, catch up with you as we've always done. You know what I mean? You had like conversations out there in the past. Our last one, and we didn't have the last one until like the live that was what in March. You know what I mean? So we hadn't been able to talk since
Oh
then.
my
You know what I
god,
mean?
I know. I haven't
Yeah,
seen even a bit, bro. I've been MIA. And
yeah,
also, F those boxing boys.
yeah, yeah.
I'ma always stay throwing shade. That's why they call me Big Deal.
Yep. So definitely want to see, what I'm gonna see about, like getting access to watching that fight on May 31st. We gotta
Yeah,
figure out
I'll
how to
post a
make that
live
happen.
stream. It'll be a Facebook link.
Yep. Once you do that, then I'll be able to share it. Particularly you said a Facebook link, so I'll be able to share it on the Facebook page there, and then you'll just kind of share it on X and all that other stuff too, so people will be able
Yeah,
to
I'll
see
share it
Brooklyn
everywhere. You
Barwick in
know
action.
me.
You feel me?
You know me. I'll have my Snapchat going. I'll have everything going.
Yep, exactly. So once again, that is Brooklyn Barwick, and definitely thankful for you spending time here with us once again. And like I said, I'm gonna be sharing this stream and sharing the live and chopping up the comments and all the stuff that you said about a number of these fighters that you can't wait to mix
I
it up with.
cannot
You
wait
know
to
what I
go
mean?
to war, baby. Oh my god. You
Yep.
know what? It's just me and my cat against everybody, yo. Round robin. Let's go.
Gotcha. Yep. No doubt. No doubt. I know. Like, hey, I know you're about that action. It looks like that cat is about that action too. So, hey, there you go. You know what I mean?
You
All
already know
right.
that.
Yep, for sure. So we're definitely looking forward to that. And like I said, I'm going to see about it within the next, what I'd say, about 5 or 6 weeks, and we'll schedule another one. How about that?
Yeah, for sure.
Gotcha. No doubt. No doubt. But thanks once again, and hey, we'll check you later for sure.
Doses. Bye.
Deuces. That is Brooklyn Barwick, ladies and gentlemen. So definitely thankful as always for her to be part of this here, whether it's the Big Week Report or the Boxing Source podcast there, as she has her upcoming bout May 31st in Mexico. So once we get more information on if it's going to be their streaming, then we're gonna be able to go ahead and post that. You know what I mean? So be on the lookout for that, whether it's on Brooklyn Barwick's social media pages or through the Boxing Source on social media. All right, bet. So got that to look forward to on May 31st, and also what we have there this weekend, as I was mentioning here a little bit earlier, Pro Box TV. You're gonna have their Erickson Lubin versus Ardreal Holmes, and it's gonna be, as I mentioned, there a key bout at 154 pounds. And I had posted this earlier here before we had Brooklyn Barwick jump back on there with us. Does Erickson Lubin have to get a knockout here to create some buzz at the top of 154 pounds? We know about Erickson Lubin's resume so far at 154 pounds. Who he's been able to face, whether it's Jamel Charlo, Sebastian Fundora, Jesus Ramos Jr. What was it? Former unified champion Jason Rosario. Lubin has faced all those guys. So he's definitely had these instances of big moments or big fights within 154 pounds. It's just that he hasn't had that opportunity to become a world champion because he had that one instance there facing Jamel Charlo in 2017. Yeah, it's been that far back when he fought for a world title. And ever since then, he's been trying to build his way back. And here we are. We're like about 8 years since that time. And here he's going up against Ardreal Holmes Jr., who I mentioned there at 17-0 with 6 wins by way of knockout. They're at 6'2" with a reach of 74.5. But I mean, Erickson Lubin has faced Sebastian Fundora, so there you go. You know what I mean? So he's dealt with those fighters that are taller than him and things like that. So I would say Lubin, having that big fight experience is going to be in an advantage here on that one side, and then the other side here is that he's going to be competing there close, pretty much at around his hometown. This is at his hometown there in Kissimmee, Florida. A little bit of a drive, ain't much of a drive there from between Kissimmee and Orlando, unless if you get stuck on I-4, and I-4 would be crazy over there. You know what I mean? Oh, big ups to Thomas Hill in the building there. Chop it up here, on the live chat on the Midweek Report. But yeah, with Erickson Lubin, having that experience there, he's gonna have a good advantage against Ardreal Holmes. And I was mentioning there with the odds, they got him at -300, so 3-1 favorite, and Ardreal Holmes at like +225 currently, on the DraftKings there, so it's like 2-1 underdog or whatnot. You feel me? And I would say that I would lean towards Erickson Lubin getting the win here. I think his experience is going to be the key in this particular bout, and that he's going to, I would say, outpoint Ardreal Holmes in this one. Now, I don't think it's going to be, make out to be much of a war, unless if like Erickson Lubin kind of like pushes it to be that, or if Ardreal Holmes is very successful early in the bout, then maybe we could get something where you get something close to a knockout. Oh, hold up, man. I ain't placing no, man. I don't know, man. I be pressing buttons on this phone here, and they thinking I'll be making bets. Now, all right. So as I was mentioning there, you got Erickson Lubin there at -300. 73% of the bets placed on the money line are in favor of Erickson Lubin. So that's almost like three of every four bets. You know what I mean? So you're only having like one out of every four that's like picking Ardreal Holmes there. I guess they want to see about if they could get a little action on that +225, or maybe get some gains on a parlay for that. But I don't see like the path there of Ardreal Holmes Jr. Getting the better of Erickson Lubin in that particular bout. So I kind of favor Erickson Lubin in this. I would say at least a clear decision win here for him to do that, and kind of like be there in position to compete for a world title later on down the line. Because as I mentioned, Erickson Lubin currently is number 3 in the IBF. Ardreal Holmes is currently number 6 in the IBF, and Erickson Lubin being there at number 3 is actually the highest rated contender in the IBF rankings right now. And after this fight is done, you're going to see a new ranking system there, or a new set of rankings for the IBF, as that will probably be around, like I said, after this weekend. So the winner of this is pretty much right in position to face Bakhram Muratalla for that IBF title, unless Bakhram Muratalla has like a voluntary defense or something like that. That's the thing there. You know what I mean? So that's why I pretty much favor Lubin, and I think he's gonna try to aim to fight for that world title that Bakhram Muratalla has. It's just we got to see if Muratalla is gonna have a fight in the interim, or is he just gonna wait it out to see what happens here with the winner. You feel me? That's the main event. You also have Nicholas Flores there in the welterweight division going up against Alan Sanchez. I think, with Nicholas Flores, he was supposed to have a bout up in Philadelphia at the 2300 arena, if I'm not mistaken. And he was supposed to fight Gabriel Maestre, right? But, he had the whole thing. I think it was an injury to Nicholas Flores, so that fight kind of got scrapped. So now they got him back in the mix here against Alan Sanchez. And, you probably could say that Nicholas Flores is gonna, really do a demolition job on Alan Sanchez. I think that's gonna be what's gonna happen there on that front. And also you're gonna have Darrell Val Saint there in the super welterweight division that's gonna be going up against Rodolfo Arasto. And Darrell Val Saint is there with just 12 pro fights, 12 victories there, and has been one of those guys that's been impressive there on the Pro Box TV circuit. So you got a few guys that have been featured there on Pro Box TV in the past that'll be part of this card here in Kissimmee, Florida. So that's one thing to kind of like look forward to on that instance or on that front, right? So that's why I got at least there on that Pro Box card. But then also you have the top ranked card that will take place, right, where you're going to have Emmanuel Navarrete defend his WBO title there against Charly Suarez, right? And for me, I feel like Navarrete could be considered as the top fighter within his division. Some may say that he is. There at 130, of course, he had his attempt to win a WBO lightweight title against Dennis Berinchyk, but fell short on that. But then, with that being said, he moved back down and he had a rematch with Oscar Valdez and ended up stopping Oscar Valdez last December. But now, with him facing Charly Suarez, now you got it where, okay, the Suarez, have a shot there of defeating Emmanuel Navarrete. Now, Charly Suarez is there at 18-0. 18-0 there, and he is what I would say. There were 10 wins by way of knockout. He's there at 5'6", with a reach of 74 and 36 years old. Coming from the Philippines, there. But yeah, that 36 that's pretty key. But hey, you know how it is with a lot of these Filipino fighters. They could have a little bit of crack that Emmanuel Navarrete may have to watch out for. So Navarrete, of course, is a guy that is very active with his hands, throws a lot of punches. But when you throw a lot of punches like that, you also leave yourself open to counter shots. And well, hey, at least what we saw on Sunday night over at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, you had a guy that was considered among top 3 pound for pound get caught with a left hook and get floored in the second round. Anyway, got floored in the second round. You know what I mean? And had to go through a little bit of adversity to get the stoppage win against Ramon Cardenas. So here, we got Emmanuel Navarrete. He is pretty good favorite there at -500, 5-1. Nowhere close to what Inoue was. His Inoue was like as high as like 65-1 favorite before the fight that he had against Ramon Cardenas. But still, having that little bit of a significant odds there in favor of Emmanuel Navarrete at -500 with Charly Suarez at +360 is like, does people really see Navarrete kind of like falling short here against Charly Suarez? I don't know. I don't know, man. What they got him at? They got Charly Suarez there. I think he's what they say as a mandatory challenger. He is ranked #1 there in the WBO. So you might as well say that he could be that mandatory challenger there for the WBO championship. But with that being said, is he like the most qualified fighter, at least at this point, for Emmanuel Navarrete? I'm not sure. I go into a couple of these fights that he's had here. What is it against Jorge Castaneda, Johan Vasquez, and a lot of these other fighters, man, I don't even know who these guys are, just being real. I think, you probably got into this position back in 2023 with his TKO win over Paul Fleming over in Sydney, Australia. So that's probably what put him in that position, because Paul Fleming was there undefeated at 28-0-1 before getting knocked out or getting stopped by Charly Suarez. So looks like Charly Suarez has been, waiting for his opportunity for a good little minute. But like I was saying, he is there at, around 30, 36 years old. It'll be his 19th pro fight. 36 years old, 19th pro fight. It was pretty interesting there. He's only been a pro for 5 years. Pretty much, he'll be around 5 years, so 5, 6 years. His pro debut was in 2019, so he is around like 30, 31 years old in his pro debut. Damn, man, you like 30, 31 years old in your pro debut. This man, nah, man, y'all gotta check the rec though. Hold up though. I'm checking the box rec here real quick. Let me see if I could share this real fast though. Because here was Charly Suarez, and this is the thing here with this amateur joint. So it shows at 35 and 23 in the amateur ranks, and it shows that he was there from 2007 to 2019. So he been in the amateur circuit for 12 years. 12 years. Yo, that man. he's had the whole thing like Lomachenko, man. Man, you know what I mean? That's insane, man. His hands are kind of brittle there, but he should get the W. That's what I'm leaning towards there for Navarrete. Having that, activity, just, wearing down his fighters, throwing uppercuts, how he throws like his uppercuts from like a long distance and things like that. He's gonna, try to do that here, with Charly Suarez, but they're around that same height. Yeah, man. Yeah, like I was saying, man, you there, man. Like I said, look, you see that a pro for like 5 years is going to be going into his 6 years, like a 6 year, whatever it is here, but 12 years, twice as long being an amateur than being able to be a professional fighter, man. That's crazy. You know what I mean? But yeah, he's there 5'6", and Navarrete's there at 5'7". They say that Charly Suarez has a reach of 74, which is they're longer than Emmanuel Navarrete. So maybe that could pose some things there early in this bout between these two. But given what Navarrete has done in multiple divisions, I think that he's going to have that opportunity to really wear down Charly Suarez, particularly in the middle rounds. I think his activity there within like rounds 3, 4, and 5 will be a little bit for Charly Suarez to try to deal with, unless Charly Suarez will try to, bite down on his, gum shield mouthpiece or whatever it is and try to land a big shot while Emmanuel Navarrete throws a series of punches. So that's the thing that we got there on that front, right? So that's why I lean towards Emmanuel Navarrete getting that win there. And also, in the co-feature bout, if we look at the fight card right here, that's going to be in San Diego, California. You got Raymond Muratalla versus Zaur Abdullaev there for the IBF interim lightweight title. Of course, this is for the IBF interim title because the IBF champion is Vasyl Lomachenko, who is either on vacation or out there chilling or whatever. But given what I was told months back, it looked like Vasyl Lomachenko chilling, and you ain't really had much word about him, getting back in the ring anytime soon. As I was saying, coming from last year, once that whole thing in reference to a potential fight between him and Tank Davis got nullified, then I don't see where Vasyl Lomachenko gets back in the picture. If he returns, then he will be defending that IBF belt, and after this bout takes place, the winner would have next dibs on the world champion there in Vasyl Lomachenko. Would Vasyl Lomachenko get back in the ring to face the winner of Raymond Muratalla and Zaur Abdullaev? I don't know. But when it comes to this bout in general here, you got Raymond Muratalla there at 22-0. You got Zaur Abdullaev there at 20-1, with that one lone loss being the early stoppage from Devin Haney. That was at the theater in Madison Square Garden in 2019. Yep, I know because I was there to see that happen. All right, but Raymond is there, at 5'8" with a reach of 72 as it shows here on the rec. Zaur Abdullaev there, at 5'9" at 31 years old. So, hey, he's been doing his work, since that, TKO loss or stoppage there for Devin Haney. So he was doing loss there over in Russia. All of these fights has been in Russia, with the exception of this one here. I think this is one that put him in position to have the bout against Raymond for the interim title when he stopped Juan Javier Carrasco over in Argentina, right? So now he's going up against Raymond. Raymond, of course, had fought Tevin Farmer, and also had another bout against Jesus Perez Campos over in Verona. There, like, hey, listen, that turning stone location, man. I don't know, dog. Like, if you ain't staying there in that particular resort, man, there ain't nothing. There's really nothing around that area, man. So I'm sorry, y'all. I wouldn't really advise being around that area unless if you're staying at the Turning Stone Resort and Casino. I'll just say that, because trying to get to Syracuse or whatever it is on that interstate they got up there, nah, that ain't good. That ain't a good look there. You feel me? But back to this fight, right? All right. You got Ray Muratalla. He's been in the mix there in the lightweight division for some time. Before he had his fight with Tevin Farmer, right? I've been asking for a fight between Ray Muratalla and Keyshawn Davis. But Top Rank looks like, from last year, it looked like Top Rank had a plan for Keyshawn Davis. They followed through on that plan. A plan that's been working very well. Shout out to Keyshawn Davis for doing what he did there last year. Pretty much like culminating with his stoppage win over Gustavo Lemos at the Scope Arena in Norfolk. That put him in position to fight Dennis Berinchik for that WBO lightweight title. Now you have Ray Muratalla in this particular position to fight for the IBF interim lightweight title. I just feel like he's gonna eventually be elevated to IBF full champion. I just see it. Unless if we see anything coming from Vasyl Lomachenko within the next couple months, you might as well say that the winner here is going to be the full-fledged IBF lightweight champion. You feel me? All right. So there you go. So for me, I think it's going to be advantage Muratalla in this bout. That he's going to get the better of Abdullaev. I think he's going to be a little bit quicker in this sense there. Like I said, he's there at 28. He's been in the mix there for, like I said, a good little while. And Abdullaev, I just don't think that he has the speed to really keep up with Ray Muratalla in this sense. So I got advantage Muratalla on that belt. And that he'll end up being the IBF interim champion. Now, afterwards, if they elevate him to full champion, and then we see what happens on June 7th over in Norfolk, we could potentially get a unification bout in the lightweight division before the end of the year. Okay? So that is, what I'm kind of like seeing. You have this winner here. If it ends up being Ray Muratalla, he's gonna be the IBF interim champion, then could eventually be the IBF full champion. And then you got Keyshawn Davis versus Edwin De Los Santos. And Keyshawn Davis, if he shows out as he will likely do against De Los Santos to defend that WBO, then you could see the WBO and IBF title be unified later this year between Keyshawn Davis and Ray Muratalla. So it's something that, like I said, I've been requesting for that fight for some time since they've been, contenders in the lightweight division. Now you could have both of these fighters as champions and could fight each other unified WBO IBF lightweight title here by the end of this year. Okay. And you'll have those two as world champions. And we already know who was the WBC and the WBA lightweight champion. So there you go. Because I'm saying here by 2026, you could potentially have a fight for the undisputed lightweight title. We'll see. Depends on how they play it. But all I'm going to say is if a certain person wins on June 7th and then ends up unifying, he should go ahead and fight his brother, man. He should go ahead and fight his brother. That's what I got on that. He should go ahead and fight his brother. What I don't see what the issue is on that. All right, so that being said, you also have Giovanni Santillan that's going to be back in the mix there. You got Andres Cortez. There's an undefeated fighter that will be facing Salvador Jimenez on this top-ranked card. So that is also, what's on slate there, you know what I mean, for Saturday night. I know that we have a local card, or at least over in my area, right? So we're gonna have, I think Nasheed Smith is gonna be featured on this card here in the DC area, right? Rosecroft Raceway. There he's supposed to be against, what is it? He said Jeremy Colors. Oh man, you better not be the first fight on the card, because I'm gonna be trying to make it out there to this joint here at Rosecroft Raceway, and if they got Nasheed Smith there as first fight, man, yeah, that'll be tough. That'll be tough if I try to make it out there. But you also got your Ezra Turner on that fight card as well that has been featured on a number of Jeter Promotions cards. But speaking of Jeter Promotions, you have a Jeter Promotions fighter that's going to be fighting on May 17th through G360 Promotions fight card, as Michael Fox will be facing Sergey Bohachuk. It's going to be a really, really interesting fight, there around that 154 weight class. Now, with that conversation that we had with Michael Fox told us that, well, maybe it won't be at 154, but it'll be at a catch weight of sorts of 157. So I really like to be interested to see the condition there of Sergey Bohachuk going into this fight against Michael Fox, because what Fox was saying is like the reason why it's around that weight is because Bohachuk can't necessarily get himself to 154. So in order for this fight to go through, they agreed to a catch weight of sorts. So that's going to be interesting to see there on May 17th as well. So that's the following Saturday. So we continue to have action here and there and whatnot. So definitely looking forward to all of that. You know what I mean? Got a couple of things here, because we had a press conference today over in Los Angeles. That's for the May 31st card in Las Vegas, right? Where you're gonna have a doubleheader of sorts, Caleb Plant versus Armando Resendiz. You're gonna have Jamal Charlo there going up against Thomas Cornflake Mamana, right? Now, from that, I'm saying here's my key question on that one, and that is, does Armando Resendiz have a chance to upset Caleb Plant? Now, Caleb Plant, of course, is the former IBF super middleweight champion. He holds the WBA interim super middleweight championship right now, and now it's going up against Armando Resendiz, who's had his fights against Jarrett Hurd, also against Elijah Garcia there over the course of his professional career. But I talked about the odds with these previous fights that are out there. You look in the books right now, they got Caleb playing at 20-1 right now against Armando Resendiz. Now, one of the things as far as like the little talk between these two is that they have shared the ring in a gym before. They have, had some, work as far as like sparring is concerned. Now, in the conference call, Resendiz had a little bit to say to Caleb Plant in reference to that little sparring session that they had. So it ended up getting rehashed here in this press conference that happened earlier today. And well, Caleb Plant like say, listen, I'm just going to stomp on this dude. I'm going to stomp on him. I'm going to stomp on him. And for me, I'm like, I expect the same thing. Like I don't see where Amanda Resendiz is gonna, do much of anything to really slow down or to, nullify what Caleb Plant's gonna do there in the ring. I just don't see it. So I think that's just gonna be like a showcase out there for Caleb Plant on May 31st over in Las Vegas. And then you got the co-feature out there, Jamal Charlo, get back in the ring there against Thomas Lamana. Now, the thing with that one, right? You got Jamal Charlo that's been, off and on, in the ring and things like that. The big thing there, at least, from news on my end, was that once that fight was pretty much being solidified and all that type of stuff, Jamal Charlo is not with a trainer that he was with for some time. Of course, Coach Ronnie Shields has been the longtime trainer there for Jamal Charlo, but this time around, nope, that's not the case there. So that is why you've seen, a whole new camp and all that type of stuff there that Jamal Charlo is going to be under, and he's going to have his trainer be Highland Williams Sr. So that is the new trainer there for Jamal Charlo. Now, will that be, what will that mean as far as like this particular fight against Thomas Lamana? I don't know. I think, Lamana, knows what is at stake here. He's, there as far as like being like I said, the considerable underdog in this fight. When you got Jamal Charlo at minus 1,400 and Thomas Lamana at plus 750. Shout out to L-Dub Boxing in the building. What's good with you, man? Of course, check out L-Dub Boxing, on YouTube, on social media. He'll be breaking some news, here and there. Like he posted joints here in reference to the announcement that was made in reference to Claressa Shields and her upcoming fight that I didn't quite mention while I had Brooklyn Barwick on as a guest here earlier. And some of y'all know why that's the case. But going back to this thing here with a co-feature about Jamal Charlo, of course, former world champion at 154, former world champion at 160, going up here against Thomas Lamana. Listen, if it's the Charlo that we all know, the Charlo that we all know, just being real, he should be able to, get this win over Thomas Lamana. I know that, Cornflake here has had a string of wins since his easy stoppage loss to Erickson Lubin. I forgot about that loss, man. He got cooked. He got cooked by Lara in that one, man. But ever since then, he's won all of his fights. He had this fight here against Noe Lopez, which I mentioned in the conference call, to Cornflake, is that, he was waiting to have the fight with Jamal Charlo on multiple occasions. And he mentioned it here in the press conference that this fight was supposed to happen on March 1st at the Barclays Center. So he's been like, what's up? What's the deal? What's good? What's happening? Are we going to fight or not? And so now it's like, okay, now we're finally having a fight. You know what I mean? So now it's more of a thing of, okay, Jamal Charlo, if he goes ahead and he handles business, then we could potentially see that matchup between Jamal Charlo and Caleb Plant, given their history. And that's why I feel like it was, interesting that they had this press conference the way that they had it. Um, it was, a little bit, well, at least a lot more cordial than it was at the conference call. Y'all could go on, Premier Boxing Champions to go back and look at that conference call, and you could see, all the stuff, all the back and forth that was happening, between Jamal Charlo and Thomas Lamana and Caleb Plant and Thomas Lamana and all that type of stuff. You can go back and listen to all that. That's why I feel like that was a crazy conference call. You feel me? But here it was a lot more tame. So, shout out to all parties involved to kind of like handle it the way that they handled it. You feel me? So that's why here May 31st over in Las Vegas, I think it's gonna be something where you're gonna have two pretty much like feature bouts. I feel like Lamana is gonna make much more of a fight out of it than I feel like Armando Resendiz will against Caleb Plant, but I still like how they favor Caleb Plant and Jamal Charlo to get those wins, right? So we do have that. You're also gonna have what was it? Yoeli Hernandez. They're supposed to be facing Kyron Davis on that card. That is gonna be a really interesting fight. Also, that fight you don't really want to miss out on. All right. So that is the thing they're on the May 31st cards. Now, just wanted to rehash or revisit something here from, of course, last weekend, particularly the fights that happened in Times Square. Right, because you had, of course, Teofimo Lopez getting a win over Arnold Barbosa Jr. You had Devin Haney getting a win over Jose Carlos Ramirez, and you had Rolando Rolly Romero get the win over Ryan Garcia. Now, of course, people were talking about that last bout there, Rolly Romero getting a decision win, unanimous decision win. You had a couple of 7-round of five scores on there, or whatever it was, but it was Rolly Romero that just completely nullified the offense of Ryan Garcia, and it's kind of like had a real little reaction to it. And one of those questions that has been raised is this: will Ryan Garcia retire? And I don't know. I don't know about that. People are saying that maybe he should reconsider about having a potential rematch with Devin Haney. I think it should still happen. I think Devin Haney should still go ahead and get that lick back. When I saw the fight live there between Rolly Romero and Ryan Garcia, I'm like, this looks like Zahir Rahim versus Eric Morales, when Eric Morales was lined up to have a rematch with Manny Pacquiao, something like that, right? And Zahir Rahim just said, "Hey man, I'm gonna just outbox you and all that type of stuff and get the decision." And Zahir Rahim didn't even get a lick of a Manny Pacquiao. And well, from a match making standpoint, I understand why. Okay. But yeah, to not have that, opportunity, and then, soon afterwards had the fight with Popo Freitas. They were, quickly talk about Zahir Rahim. I feel like if I'm not mistaken, I feel like he won that fight too. But that one, it was like a tough break there for a Zahir Rahim. Here on the flip side with Rolly Romero, of course, being under the whole thing with TGB Promotions and all that type of stuff, they're gonna set him up properly. You know what I mean? We had this previous fight there under TGB Promotions after he had lost the the super lightweight title, WBA super lightweight title of sorts there against Isaac Pitbull Cruz. Then he had another fight there to get himself back into gear. And then he's put in this position to fight Ryan Garcia. And ended up, like I said, completely nullifying the offense of Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia just didn't have nothing there, for Rolly Romero. And, well, as I was mentioning there, maybe there was something really going on there in his previous bout. You know what I mean? My God topic says they need to slow rock Ryan for a few fights. That's up to Ryan Garcia. That's up to Golden Boy Promotions. What they're going to do. There's a few fights or a few opponents that could be out there for him. But it just all depends on what Ryan Garcia does. You know what I mean? They said, what is it? According to Yahoo Sports here, what is it? Judy Rodich of Yahoo Sports, that it could be that Garcia took up to $20 million for the fight against Rolly Romero. $20 million. That's crazy. $20 million. But now, given that this is a loss, that's why I say you had the fight there with Devin Haney. That's still easily the most lucrative bout that could be out there for Ryan Garcia. And, here with Rolly Romero, he said it before the fight, and he said it after the fight. He's like, listen, I did my thing here. After I get this win, hey, you want to go ahead and have that rematch? Go ahead that rematch. Devin Haney still needs that lick back. Hey, I'll give y'all that opportunity. So that thing is still open, So I guess for me, it's up to Devin Haney if he wants that rematch with Ryan Garcia. But outside of that, you have this option there of retirement, and I'm like, now when you have probably one or two, more bouts out there that Ryan Garcia could get a good amount of money for. So that's the thing on that. All right. So that's one. And then two is another question that I'll pose up here. And this is part of a long conversation that I had on Friday after the fights with my guy topic. Okay. So we're gonna bring this question up once again. We're going to bring this question up once again. Here we go. Should Teofimo Lopez really get a shot at Gerard Boutsenis? Oh, man. Oh, man. That's another good question. I'll see if I can get to that question, that topic here in a little bit. All right, bet. So, should Teo really get a shot at Boutsenis? Talked about it on Friday night, and it's been followed up a few times here as Teofimo has gone through a couple of media trips and things like that. One of them was on with Sean Porter and the Porter Way podcast there, and Teo raised it up there once again and said that hey, he would like to fight Boutsenis, and that it could potentially be a fight that could be on, September 12th at Allegiant Stadium, where, of course, Canelo Alvarez is going to face Terrence Bud Crawford. So, I don't know, man, if, Turkey Al-Sheikh and, Dana White and, who is it, Khan, I don't know if it's Peter Khan or whatever it is, if they are interested in putting up additional money to have that fight take place. I don't know. But with Boutsenis, his situation right now. You had the win there against Emmanuel Navarrete to become unified champion. The WBA had placed the order for him to face Shakram Giasov, and then after that, face the winner of Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero. So you're going to have that situation there, right? With Boutsenis. At least right now, he's, it hasn't even been a month since his win over Emmanuel Navarrete to become unified champion. So the question is, how long will it take for him to get back in the mix and at least have a fight, whether it's against Shakram Giasov Rolly Romero or Teofimo Lopez? That's the question. So looks like he has those three options because Topic has brought it up. Hey, you got the WBO champion, busy. You know what I mean? You're gonna have the WBC champion busy there. you know, so with those two fighters having fights, you know what I mean? Because you're supposed to have Mario Barrios versus Manny Pacquiao on July 19th in Las Vegas. You're supposed to have Brian Norman Jr. There, that's supposed to be facing Jin Sasaki in Japan, right? So that leaves Boots Ennis to be open to facing, some other fighters. Yeah, you have that mandatory, but does he? Okay, I'll put it this way: does he really have to face Shakram Giasov right off the rip? My thing is this, as what it says. Listen, the thing is this: if if I could pay Shakram Giasov for Boots to have a fight with Ian Montesanonis, then I could pay him once again so Boots can have a fight with Teofimo Lopez. I don't know, man. It may be possible, but it just depends on the money. You know what I mean? Because if you could have in the past Eleider Alvarez get paid step aside money for at least 3 or 4 fights, while Adonis Stevenson was defending the WBC light heavyweight title back in the day, and it took until Eleider Alvarez faced Sergey Kovalev for Kovalev's belts for him to have a shot at a world championship. Maybe they just end up doing the same thing here with Shakram Giasov because, I mean, come on, y'all. Y'all seen Shakram Giasov in the ring. Y'all seen him in the ring, man. Like, come on, y'all. Y'all really think that I kind of get it on a sense that, Shakram Giasov being a mandatory challenger and all that, but it isn't even his fight that he had against Franco Campo. It was his fight against Miguel Parra last year that I was like, bro, I felt like he lost that fight or something because that was just absolutely trash, right? But he's still the mandatory. So now Eddie Hearn has this little thing here where, okay, do I have Shakram Giasov get paid off once again in order for Boots Ennis to have another big fight that could be on the horizon for him? Like I said, either Rolly Romero or Teofimo Lopez. That's the possibilities. Like I said, Eddie Hearn will have to talk with the WBA and have a talk with Boots Ennis and see what his route is going to be. Because, like I said, if you're going to have the WBO champion and the WBC champion already locked in with some fights, what are you going to be waiting on there? Because your fight is in April. They ain't fighting until June or July. You got to have something there in between. I say by August. Like, have something either by August. If you can't have a fight in August with Shakram Giasov or Rolly Romero, then maybe, just maybe, you can have that little thing there with Teofimo Lopez, even though I still say that Teofimo Lopez has a lot to do at 140 pounds first. Can we at least have him fight a couple of these other top fighters at 140? Yeah, he did have his performance there against Arnold Barbosa Jr. But you got these other fighters that are world champions. Yeah, I ain't talking about no Richard Hitchens. I'm talking about Mr. Gary Antoine Russell. How about that fight? You know what I mean? Yeah, I already know about the WBC champ going up against Subriel Matias. So that leaves Gary Antoine Russell. Why not have that? Why not say, hey, you know what? Let's have this unification bout. Let's pay that WBA mandatory there for super lightweight step aside money, and let's have this unification bout. How about that? Let's see if that'll do. All right. So that's what I had in reference to that. And I'll go over this last thing here that was brought up by the topic. He has this question, and he asked, have we seen the best of Naoya Inoue? Good question. Good question. We've seen this performance that he had here against Ramon Cardenas. I mentioned it earlier. I said Ramon Cardenas was a huge underdog going into this bout. Naoya Inoue was as high as like 65-1 favorite going into that first round. And then we've seen what happened in the second round, similar to what we saw with Naoya Inoue against Luis Neri last year. Same thing, getting caught with a punch, getting caught with a left hook, having that right hand down. Yes, he was able to get himself composed and collect himself and was able to get back and stop Ramon Cardenas. But is that the best or the highest level that we've seen here of Naoya Inoue? Or was it his bout against Stephen Fulton in July of 2022 or 2023, my bad, 2023, right? Was that the best of Naoya Inoue when he faced and defeated Stephen Fulton in? They said they have plans here for Naoya Inoue. They got him, set up for a bout against MJ Akhmadaliev here within the next few months. Akhmadaliev has an upcoming fight here that's supposed to be in Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. It's not mistaken, but he's going to have that fight, right? He's going to be there against Luis Castillo on May 30th, right, in Guadalajara, Mexico. After that, they're saying that, we're going to have finally this fight between Naoya Inoue and MJ Akhmadaliev. Anyway, if he goes up against Akhmadaliev, they're within, I'd say, I don't know, late August, early September. No, they have it for it's going to be a couple days after Canelo versus Crawford. So you had Canelo Crawford September 12th, and we're going to have Inoue versus Akhmadaliev on September 14th over in Japan. All right. So after that, what would be next for Naoya Inoue? And looking to see about having him go up to 126, but he also stated that he intends to fight Junto Nakatani either by the end of the year or probably early next year. So he won't be moving up to 126 until after he has his fight with Junto Nakatani. But with him being at, the age that he's at, moving up multiple divisions that he's already done there at 32 years old, I don't know, because having these fights, what is it? Since his fight against Luis Neri last year, he's had 3 fights. He's going to be scheduled for another one here in September, and then probably another one coming back there against Junto on January of 2026, or by January of 2026. So I don't know. Is that going to be pretty much his limit? Because he did say that he still intends to move up to 126. And once he moves up to 126, that's it. And he's already been a pro for 13. It's going to be 13 years in October of this year. It'll be 13 years he'll be a pro. That's a long time, from being in those weight classes from 105, 108, 112, 115, 118, that type of thing. That's a long time. So, yeah, similar to, Loma. I mean, you got to have that certain point where you get to a weight class that you're not going to be able to, properly, do what you were doing in those lower weight classes. Yes, he's stopping these guys here, at 122. He's been doing that, but eventually, if he's going to go up to that 126, is that going to still be, there for him? I mean, look at Lomachenko there at 135. He did have his stoppage win over George Kambosos, and We said a lot about George Kambosos over the years, like George Kambosos. You know what I mean? But outside of that, he didn't necessarily have that many stoppages there at 135 when it comes to Lomachenko. Here with Naoya Inoue, he's still been able to perform at a good level, at a high level. But he's showing those deficiencies there, particularly in the defense department. And, like I said, being in the game, as long as he's been in there, it could eventually catch up to him. It could. I'm not saying that he's going to catch up to him against Emmanuel Navarrete in September. I don't know if they're going to try to, have him face, Nick Ball further down the line, but I don't even think that fight is going to materialize either. I think you're going to see that fight between Naoya Inoue and Junto Nakatani there by January of 2026. And then after that, Inoue moves to 126. Whoever's going to be there at 126, cool. I know that they're talking about, the fighter there in Rafael Espinoza that wants to fight Naoya Inoue. He did have a good performance there, against Edward Vasquez, Kid Vasquez. Shout out to Kid Vasquez, though. He still, made an effort of it. He still never gave up on there, there. But, it was just, Espinoza at the top of his game on that. Like that, he almost like pretty much showed that he could be the top guy at 126. So he's gonna say that he'll wait it out, see if he'll wait it out another year to see if Inoue will face him around that same time next year. We'll see. Because he's there at 6'1" at 126. How long is he gonna stay there at 126 pounds? I don't know. But if he's still there, that's still a possibility as a top fight at 126 for Naoya Inoue if he gets through the bouts against Emmanuel Navarrete in September. They had the Junto Nakatani fight that would be at least December or January, right? And then after that, you got something in May. So there you go. So, hey, maybe we have seen the best of Naoya Inoue here, but even so, he's still undefeated. He's still getting the stoppage victories. He's now there at 30-0, 27 wins by way of knockout. And hey, we'll see. But yeah, good question nonetheless. But with that being said, there, man, I've covered a lot here on this midweek report. And like I said, in the sport of boxing, it's a lot. You know what I mean? Go ahead and check out, the interviews that we've had here over the past couple of days. Have something currently on Instagram with Elijah Garcia. Not Elijah Garcia. What am I doing? Goodness, man. Like I said, I've been like zonked out in reference to this coverage, right? The Wolf Elijah Pierce had a long conversation there with the Wolf Elijah Pierce on Instagram. It ended up being 2 hours. 2 hours from yesterday. This is like hours after I ended the Real Boxing with Coach Ronnie Shields episode, went on Instagram and had the conversation there with Elijah Pierce. And that ended up being a really, really, really good conversation. I will post some clips of that here on YouTube, but you can go ahead and catch it here on Instagram here for now. I might end up having the full thing on YouTube. Just depends. I'll see what we do here over the next couple of days. But that just is one little sample of what I've been able to do here over the past few days. And it's a lot, but it's all for the sport of boxing. All right. So with that being said, that is the conclusion here of the Boxing Source Midweek Report. Yeah, man, like another 2 hours in, man. I'm really not with like doing this type of stuff, but hey, as long as there's stuff to talk about in boxing, hey, I'll be able to try to touch on it and cover it or whatever it is. So hopefully you enjoyed all of that here, and I will catch y'all later. Peace out.